Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this amazing panel. My name is Andrea Camargo. I'm really passionate about technology, nature, yoga, and mindfulness. I studied veterinary medicine in Colombia. I'm from Colombia. And then I did a master's degree in Silicon Valley on international business and innovation. And there is where all this biological world and this technological world started to mix. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all. Definitely Web3 and AI can be powerful tools to shift our collective potential towards different scenarios. It all depends on how we use it. And today we have you guys, exceptional panelists, here with us. I will be moderating this very intriguing conversation about trust, innovation, collaboration, and also risk involving the use of emerging technologies. So let's start by presenting ourselves with a quick introduction of your personal and professional experience. Let's begin with Anil.
Hi, everyone. Good evening from Frankfurt, Germany. And I'm the co-founder of Turboslow Web3 agency. We create new media projects using AI, AR, XR, and blockchain technologies, Web3 technologies, basically, in very diverse wide fields. And I mean, from wellness to gaming and from fashion to art. And we work with the artists, AI artists too. We are actually organizing an AI exhibition at the moment with many different artists from all over the world. And I'm also a creator in the field. So, and I'm into wellness and digital technology, mindful technology mostly. I work with the kids and parents, and plus I'm also, I love to do like things like AI meditation, metaverse meditation, make it a bit working with the words like mantraverse or intraverse or things like that. And I'm also co-founder of Crypto Female Germany and a voice for the women empowerment, women in Web3. And yeah, very happy to be here tonight, this evening. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Richard, do you want to go? Oh, you're muted.
We can't hear you, Richard. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes, my name is Richard Bukowski. I am a future forecaster and futurist. I've been in the 2 decades of experience in marketing and digital marketing. I specialize in forecasting trends and developing innovative strategies to help leaders and group leaders position their companies both with a predictable and more positive future. Kind of at its core, I help my clients imagine different futures so they can develop actionable and, again, optimistic plans to future-proof their businesses. I consider myself more of a multidisciplinarian when it comes to my futures, because there are, as we all know, different industries touch other industries, and then as we continue to emerge, they continue to also branch off into different directions. So I like to bring a very kind of holistic and kind of wide-ranging experiences to today's current problems.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. Jonas?
Sure. Yeah, nice to meet you all. I'm Jonas, originally from Germany as well. Nowadays more all over the place. Back in the days, I started with studying mechanical engineering, so from a not completely, but a slightly different world. And then during my studies, I realized that I would like to follow this entrepreneurial path. And I was also very interested in Web3. So I got into Web3 2017, 2018, where I really wanted to understand the technology and deep dive into that, which led me then to basically study blockchain technologies. So I got a master's degree in that. And during that time, I dived into different crypto communities, Web3 communities, and also founded my first company there, which was basically a fully licensed crypto on and off ramp in a fully non-custodial way. So a lot of technical phrases here, but yeah, that's basically what it was out of Europe. Then I founded a second company, which was more like a infrastructure provider for decentralized finance, DeFi. And yeah, as of now, I'm funding another company, which is TrustBytes. And I really was happy about the title of this panel today, because that's exactly what we are doing. So we are basically bringing both worlds together here. It's all about basically increasing the trust. So in particularly increasing the trust in protocols, in Web3 in general. And for that, we are applying AI. So really bringing both tech stacks here together. And that's why I'm really looking forward to our panel today. And yeah, may our gather be well.
Awesome, Jonas. Thank you so much. Very diverse backgrounds we have here. Daniel, you go.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. So I'm the co-founder of the SciTech VR. At SciTech VR, we're doing the virtual reality therapy for the mental health and wellness. And as a pioneers, we integrated the artificial intelligence, the generative AI, in the process of treating a variety of different disorders. I have in my family, I have 3 generations of psychologists, so I'm quite in the field. And nowadays, we really help people with the AI and a combination of the VR, which is a part of the Web3. So that makes this, more juicy for this discussion. Also, I'm in the VR for the past 5 years. Love to share some insights today. And all of you have a great experience. And Andrea, you also mentioned the mindfulness, which is kind of very relevant for me. Great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Great to be here as well. There are a lot of questions here, but I will guide the questions for some of you. This one specifically will be for Richard and Daniel. So how do you think Web3 and AI can be used collaboratively for humanitarian purposes?
I'll go first. Well, as a futurist, we always look, 5-10 years into the future, but we base everything on what's currently going on. And so I'm very familiar with how, let's just say, I guess Web3, as in incorporating to AI, is already going on. So there are, tons of sensors around the planet measuring, sea temperature, wave sizes, all number of things like that are kind of going into a centralized kind of database, and then allowing everyone to know if there's any dangers, things to kind of work out. That I predict that the sensors will start going smaller, so that we'll start very similar to kind of the tags, and then individually tagged, so we'll be able to know, again, some either detailed information about your personal health or things like that kind of going on. The other main, at least when it comes to AI, is how the some medical fields and research are using it. So there are for additional diagnoses. So we're very familiar with on how X-ray and heart technicians are using or at least double checking AI just in case they kind of miss something. But geneticists worldwide are using this with AI algorithms that can recognize up to 300 disorders just based on the patient's face, and be able to, again, make, help how certain, drugs are being developed and kind of current uses, for them. So, my hope is that it will continue to grow exponentially, because we're no longer following Moore's law, and with unlimited storage, positive information, given for free for, doctors and other researchers and stuff to use, will, I would say would continue to go down into deeper directions.
Yes, definitely this field, I mean, the health of our planet, the health of ourselves can be influenced by the technology we are creating. And we will talk about those risks as well a bit later, but from what I studied, the biotech can go in different directions, right? It can go to cure disease, but it can go and create a new virus or a new disease that we don't know about. But it's really interesting perspective. Thank you, Richard. Daniel.
Yeah, I have something to share. I would like to come with more practical orientated thing here. So, because we know that as a different humanitarian things like mental health support and mental trauma recovery is one of it, I would like to go to the side of the SciTech where we help people with the mental health and wellness. So I can give you an example. Like there's a cognitive behavioral therapy which is approved by the World Health Organization. Everyone knows this. And CBT therapists, they use an emotional exposure when they're trying to expose the patient to a certain anxiety disorder. But everyone knows that people with the trauma, they have issues visualizing a certain experience, certain exposure environment. So here, where VR can help. But during the exposure therapy, it's really necessary to bring a patient from the exposure to the safe place if a panic attack happens. So this is where we're bringing the generative AI for creating any relaxative practice. So the patient can go and create a certain, let's say, mountain trail with the ships or a green forest within a sky, and with the Gen AI can create a certain relaxative space. And this is where the VR can help because the patient don't need to visualize it with imagination. The patient here can see the exposure therapy, the VR exposure therapy, and on the other hand, we have a safe place AI. And there is an easy, transition between these places. So for example, in terms of the therapy, this is how the VR and Gen AI can help. I can give you another example. So for example, the AI companion. So social phobia is something very, it's in the air. So it's very common, especially after the COVID. So a lot of people even don't know how to interact with the colleagues in the office. So the AI here can help in terms of the avatars and companions. And we're actually working on one of the system. So you can take, even if you work with a Unity Unreal, you can take a 3D person there and like power up with the with the AI, like a ChatGPT or any other available right now. And this can be the AI companion. So you can integrate it to the VR and have a, like a certain social phobia and different type of the training. And the beauty here is that the therapist is no longer creating scripts for the therapy, but more of like supervising and looking for this from the perspective of the research of how the patient is working with the social avatar, AI-powered avatar, right? So here comes more space and time where the therapist can spectate and can research on the behavioral of the patient. So I mean, like, yeah, definitely in the therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did saw a bit of what you are creating with SciTech. It's very, very interesting to merge these technologies with mental health. I think it has a great potential. And I've used it myself, when I was studying abroad and my partner was in Colombia, I used to ask ChatGPT like, can you give me advice on how to maintain a long distance relationship? And it actually gave me good ideas. It's not like it's going to be your only friend or something, but it definitely can make you go into other neural pathways, let's say. So thank you, Daniel. Maybe Anil, you want to comment on this as well?
Yeah, I was just thinking, why don't you just ask a friend other than ChatGPT? So, but it is like a friend, right? Sometimes. So when you feel alone, because I've been expat, I mean, all my life, and still my family lives in another city, in another country. So when I feel alone, and some of my friends are all over the world, so it's not easy to find them just in at that time, because one of them is in Australia, my best friend. So I can't just ask her just like that. Sometimes it's like those are like robots also, kind of. Some of them are talking, some of them are not talking, and they're just, you know, I mean, can type you. But could be an interesting friend from time to time to get some, that kind of recommendations. Especially, I'm using it for my son because I have only one son, and he's not a lonely child, but he loves to talk a lot. So he is using a lot about those robots and chat GPTs and Alexa things. He just loves it, and we can't just, I mean, stop him. It's like a friend to him, and I think it's really cool sometimes.
Yes, definitely.
If I may add, like one personal story, a quick one, regarding especially like applying AI to maybe rather psychological problems or like cases. A few years back, I came back from a longer journey, living like abroad in Asia for 9 or 10 months, and I came back and I felt something was different. So I used to basically live with my parents back then still, but something has changed, and I didn't really know what it was, and it really affected my energy levels. I was constantly tired, and I felt something is definitely wrong. I went to the doctor and checked everything, like from the physical health, everything was totally fine. Until a friend like told me, yeah, maybe with your psychology is something wrong, and you really should consider to talk to a therapist. And for me, that was back then never affected by like psychological problems or something like that. That was a huge step to go out to expose myself to a therapist. And nowadays, I see more and more applications, especially with AI, where basically you can have like a first chat. And I feel like this is like a crucial step because it's like this psychological barrier to even start to talk about it. And that, for example, would have definitely helped me back then. If I would have known like a tool where I can just chat, explain my situation, explain my problems, and then maybe talk to a therapist after that.
Yes, definitely. And I think this is something that we are seeing more and more often, even with young children, that can be more open towards these AI chats than even to other people. And that is kind of, how can I say, a double-sided coin, because from one perspective, you can see that the social connection may be a bit lost. But in other ways, young children are entering to this gaming world, and they are connecting not only with robots, but other people around the world. So it's really interesting how this is going to shift our communication in the future. But also something really, really important to think about is if we are talking with these machines and these are gathering all the data in a centralized network, what are the challenges around the trust and the security of these data? And I think, Jonas, maybe you can start with this question, and then Richard or someone can jump in.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Yeah, where should I start? I mean, how much time do I have? No, just kidding. Challenges, I mean, there are massive challenges, period. Maybe we can separate into both technologies like Web3 and AI. Web3, in my opinion, is definitely the trust factor. So when we look at Web3 today, it's a very scattered environment. So we have like more and more applications of Web3 or crypto or however you want to call it. Also like in the institutional world. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we all know it, the Bitcoin ETF was approved. But on the other hand, we have like so many projects going on that are like completely, of course, not regulated on the one hand side, but also they're completely operating somehow in the dark, behind the curtain, especially for the majority of people. So in order to really generate the trust for Web3, we need, on the one hand side, like rock solid like technologies and security. But on the other hand, we basically need to educate the people, and we need to make it way more easier to interact with Web3. So especially from the security side, I see massive challenges, and this the security directly affects also like the regulations around Web3. So if we look, like I just read the news a couple of hours ago, there was like a massive hack going on. So apparently Ripple was exploited. And talking about Ripple, I mean, they basically won a case in the US against the SEC, right? So these are like huge challenges, especially for Web3. So we definitely need to increase the security. We need to stop. I mean, you can't stop the hacks and exploits, but we need to fight against these. And that's why we are working with Trust Bytes on that. So this is like one of the main reasons why we basically start Trust Bytes. On the AI part, it's like I would assume that we don't even know all the challenges and threat factors here, because like this technology is like just evolving so super fast, and we can just slightly imagine what kind of threats there will be in the upcoming years. But of course, we already see like threats by deepfakes, obviously, by prompt injection, by AI models that are trained in a harmful way. So either with wrong data or harmful data. I mean, I think it was last year when we had this deep fake from Joe Biden, where apparently this deep fake called a lot of people. So there are definitely massive challenges, and I think the trust factor is like definitely one of the main challenges here. And we need to see, and we also need to keep on developing the technology in order to fight those threats.
Yes, I think this has always been like a challenge in all the technology we have been creating for the past decades. Like when we started using the internet, we also had deep fakes and scams and all these like fake news, and you know, this disruption of security that we had. We also have it now, of course, with more powerful tools. But I think we also have this other side that is building that trust and that safety around the technology. So it's always
just one difference. The entry barrier is way lower. So the entry barrier for people who want to start to hack or who want to start to do those threats is way lower with the recent development in AI.
Right. I guess all these low code, no code tools are also opening up these doors for all kinds of people to do amazing and horrible things at the same time. Yeah. Richard, do you want to comment on this one?
Oh, yes, definitely would love to. Well, the one thing we all know, and again, trust is earned and not given. So it really, most companies and let's say governments, we'll have to put in the long game to get that to happen. And as you mentioned, we were very worried about in Web.1, we were worried about putting credit card information into the web. We're pretty confident about that. So where in Web2, and actually let's kind of take it a little further. We learned in the Edelman Trust Barrier of 2023 that actually, businesses actually had a higher trust level than the media and the government and the NGOs. Now, again, that's a year ago. A lot has kind of happened here, but it would be good for businesses to take advantage, of that opportunity. And what we heard coming out of Davos, this season was mainly about trust. Where is it? How do we get it? How do we keep it? There's been a complete breakdown. Is it more political than it is anything? So that's why I forecast, businesses might have a better chance of, building platforms and that will have a little bit, of a chance to continue, that long game. And in marketing, we've been doing, excuse me, different aspects of wide range, reach, measurement and such. So also coming out of Web1 and Web2, where, we may have, or again, I forecast something that is considered always on. I think we're always on anyway, when it comes to our home assistants, listening devices, kind of where else you want to, get kind of giving your information already. And especially going back to, again, trying to gain trust, but then, how do you do that is, culturally at home. So I had, going back to what we mentioned before about, using AI for diagnoses and other in digital collection. So if we can imagine a very smart glasses, right? Not visors or something. This is something that would, literally have to go out every day or something like that. And with some just basic information, as we all go to our eye doctor, you can have, again, health problems solved, catching health problems with simple eye exams, like brain tumors, diabetes, as we mentioned before, even lupus, all can be detected quickly and easily just by some simple, again, scanning. So we can put that on. Same thing with the voice before. I'm a very big voice person. A learned platform could tell the difference in your everyday life, from your menstrual cycle to if you're pregnant, to other vocal biomarkers like lead poisoning and kind of a few other kind of surprise things that you didn't know that your voice can give it to you. And a lot of that, even, we were addressing some of the mental health, which we all need to be putting, a full attention on. Your device, once it knows you, could tell if your tonality is all different. You're not feeling, you're not yourself, or you're not something like that. Now, going back into the trust, this all has to be captured all the time, putting someplace, where am I, again, where is that going? How is it being read? Is anyone else reading it? Things like that. Again, that's where the trust needs to happen. I think some, again, non-government or third party could do a good job, with that. And then once, you start to, not only will it help you, find the, your office or kind of things like that, but then also if, your kind of day-to-day things. And once your day-to-day, issues are being addressed, I would trust you and I'll continue to move forward.
Really interesting, Richard. And I think that this especially decentralization that comes from Web3 technologies, can really create different types of governance in the business level, in the government level, and as a society. And that, I think, will change our trust between the platforms we use, the social media companies we use, the search engines we use. Like, if that centralization starts to create new governance structure, I think it will be really, really interesting on how we're going to trust these new platforms. Okay, I have this other question. This, I think, could be an open question for all of you. Maybe, Anil, you want to go ahead. I know you have really interesting thoughts about technology. So how do you think these technologies can be leveraged to empower marginalized communities?
Maybe it's not just for marginalized communities, also for like earthquake victims, and when it comes to natural disasters or something, because yeah, my roots come from Anatolia, so we had a very bad days, bad moments actually last year because of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. So I wasn't there, but I felt it in my heart. And the organization in between the Web3 communities all over the world was amazing. I mean, using those blockchain technologies and NFTs and cryptocurrencies. So and it was, as I witnessed, the global Web3 community is leading by Refik Anadol. He's an international AI artist, very global. He's been in World Economic Forum in Davos actually a couple of weeks ago, and he has just showed his latest project, Dataland. It was about nature and AI. So, I mean, we are all thinking about, how we can really, leverage all those technologies with human intelligence, nature intelligence, and also artificial intelligence. I mean, which way we should look at, and where should we start from sometimes? I mean, from our hearts, from our minds. So these are the basic questions that I've been also asking to myself every day when I teach, when I work with the kids, when I play with them, or when I give a training to a company about Web3 and AI. And before I go to bed, especially to myself. So what you should choose, Anil, and what we should choose for a better world, and what can it be done with those amazing technologies? Because I always want to see the positive side. Rather than those challenges and trust issues, of course, because this comes with the ethics to me. We are also, had the same problems in Web2, and still we are having some problems, also ethical problems, trust issues, also in Web2, in social media platforms. This is all happening. So the time hasn't changed. We are still in the 21st century. Nothing has changed actually. When we look at the look at the challenges, comes from Web2, and we are still living in it with Web3. But I think it's mostly Web3 and AI can be used collaboratively for humanitarian purposes in various ways. For instance, AI can be used to analyze data, from Web3 networks to identify patterns and trends that can help humanitarian organizations make informed decisions. So, and AI can also be used to develop predictive models that can help forecast natural disasters and other humanitarian crises, I think, allowing organizations to prepare and respond more effectively. So, coming to I mean, marginalize also communities, which, I mean, as a woman in tech, I can say that I'm a marginalized community in between. I mean, in those tech industry, because I remember that I was the only country manager in between 25 countries and all the other men and manners around me. So I can't say that I was alone, but whenever I see some heartfelt decisions, that I see a woman also in that group. So these things also must be important to think that, I mean, to do the yin yang of those communities, and also women in tech, and also women in men, also, I mean, all those marginalized groups, including kids, I must say, to ask. First of all, to listen, and the needs basically from those communities. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And I have seen these kind of benefits. Recently in Bogota, we had a really big fire that light up all the mountains that are very close to the city. And the response of everyone here was really, really quick. So I know the interconnectedness of our species can have really valuable responses towards these, not only marginalized communities, but also the natural disasters that will start happening because of climate change. And fortunately, we can start thinking about those solutions as well. To close up our conversation, I wanted to talk a little bit about the potential risks and how could they be mitigated by how we use the technology. This is open question, so feel free to jump in.
Sorry about that. Yes. So there's the obvious issues that I would say that we're dealing with now are not, or will be probably again addressed in the near future. I mean, do we realize how much information that we're giving, just by the use of our credit card, at a store, or how your government is reading your car meter, and so all these things are kind of going on already. But as having the ability to control it is something new with the technologies that we have now. That will kind of go into something like your personal agent and things like that, or as technologies increase, there'll be, I'm willing to give you my name and phone number for access of this, or I'll be willing to give you all of my health information for free healthcare, or kind of, we'll kind of go in something in that direction. So again, it's going to be, trusted and gone there. So as long as it doesn't get abused, so if, again, kind of go in with good, positive attitudes and expectations, to kind of have that going back. Now, what happens, and there's again another example with voice. I'm a big voice and sound person. An example was, I believe it happened with the brand Target. They were able to pick up from their voice from the house voice assistant that someone was pregnant, and started to change their the delivery of their coupons and other kind of other things like that. When it's like, hey, all of a sudden I'm getting diapers and this and that, whatever, and there was no and that caused a bit of a again of a problem. It was like, so what what are you even allowed to tell me, even if I don't know, or kind of things like that. So again, having them all into, I think ultimately into a place where you are in 100% control. That will be, I guess, allow the, the trust levels, to kind of go in there, and take it to the next level.
Yes, and data is the new currency now, right? Because AI models are trained on data, And this data we gather it from people that are subscribing to these platforms for free. And when it's free, you are the product. And this is something that I learned at doing my master's in Silicon Valley, because the business students, we are now kind of we have our mind more open towards these platform businesses, and because of the data is the new currency, then these platforms are very powerful for that gathering and centralization of data. But I was recently reading a book called Who Owns the Future? And they are talking about what if we start monetizing people's data and paying them for that data they're giving to the platform, and not just providing them free products or services. And I thought it's really, really interesting. And I haven't seen many companies doing that recently. But
there are web browser companies, again, since there is that interaction, where they'll, you'll be able to get, micro pennies or, some advantages, of that. It's been on the, a development list for many of the companies, when you sign up for their programs, again, you're kind of allowing them, for benefits, the hotel, points and things like that. There's a thing there. But if I can go into one other example, and again, kind of trying to mitigate this down, there are, the excitement of Web3 technologies, both today and tomorrow. There are, and as again, using some examples of today for tomorrow, the personal identification company Clear, which we all may be familiar with at the airports and stuff. They kind of, it's like another, level. And, if you can take those, like, so right there, that's a global, international, accepted level. First time I've ever seen anything like that, where they're either reading your iRetina or your, I think it's either your voice or your face. I'm not sure where you go from there. As Jonas mentioned, if we can get that more of the in the blockchain level, where we can, now it's going to be open to everyone, the ability for, for everyone to, tap into, and it'll, does it make a difference, where you go, again, where you are, this, that, if you can recognize who you are and I need help or I need this or that, it could be a much better, quicker humanitarian aspect versus, waiting for the UN to, drop something on, in your neighborhood or something.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I think just one or two sentences on that. I think what here is really important that we educate. So, I mean, everybody's talking about like we need to educate, but in the end, it comes down to that, right? I mean, if we want to be, or if you want to have more sovereign data security, and basically, if we want to be more sensitive to what we are doing with our data, we need to educate people, and we need to make everyone aware that you are giving your data away basically for free every day. And if we can then maybe apply Web3 to that, and then maybe somehow monetize your data, then this entire game changes, because then also the incentives changes. And I think we need to think into that direction. And that's basically, or the groundwork for that is basically done by NFTs. That's basically why there's so much hope on NFTs. I mean, nobody's like talking about NFTs at the moment, but basically that's the underlying technology to realize that.
Wow, awesome comment, Jonas. Thank you so much. I don't know, Daniel, do you want to close up for this question? And then
Sure. Definitely something which we didn't touch base is the compliance. So, for instance, we are working in the sphere where being FDA compliant and let's say HIPAA compliant is very important. So, because we're dealing with people that work with different trauma and stuff, of course, they're usually requiring like if FDA compliant, do you have any other compliance certificates? Do you have any research studies and stuff? So even for the other startups, or even for the companies that are jumping here to this industry, Web3 AI, thinking of the compliance when you are building your financials and budgets, it's very important. So think twice. Think twice.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you all, Anil, Richard, Jonas, Daniel. This was a fantastic conversation. I learned so much. Hope to see you again and connect soon. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye-bye.